So we'll swiftly move to Stefanie, who is the head of content of VDR Group. So thank you very much, Stefanie, for being here. Yes, she made a very long travel from Munich. Cologne, yes. Well, I went to Munich, I don't know. Thank you for being here. Dankeschön. Thanks. So yes, welcome. In some of the previous sessions, we had like a lot of different people. We had WDR already, so she'll tell you why she's not just WDR. She's WDR Group. Yeah. We had like Kika, Nick, ZDF, HR, France Télévisions, Disney, but now VDR Group. Thank you, Stefanie.
WDR Media Group. So after Christelle's very nice, colorful animation presentation, I'm going to start with some boring drier background, because it's always a little bit difficult to understand where we actually fit in the whole picture of the public broadcasting system in Germany as WDR Media Group. So I'm going to start with ARD WDR. Yeah.
It's not boring. I love it.
Yeah,
it's very funny.
And it's really important because it's always difficult to explain who we are, where we are. So you see, this is the map of Germany, and you see there are 9 regional broadcasters in Germany. WDR is actually the biggest one of them, even though that area doesn't look so big. If you look at the population density of Germany, you see that that area is very crowded. So actually, WDR is the biggest of the local public broadcasting stations. And the ARD is basically made up of all those 9 local stations. So ARD and ZDF are the 2 big public broadcasters in Germany. And they together own Kika, which of course everyone in the animation industry knows. And why I'm telling you all this is because WDR as a channel doesn't actually have a kids slot. Everything they do goes on the ARD channel, Das Erste, or on Kika. So ARD and ZDF, they both provide content for Kika, but of course Kika also gets content, like they produce, co-produce, and acquire content on their own. This is just important to know. We don't acquire, like we as WDR Media Group anyways don't acquire for the channel, but WDR doesn't acquire for WDR, but does that for ARD and Kika. So I hope you're completely confused now.
Yeah, keep them on their toes. Keep them on their toes. We'll ask you the question at the end, if you got it.
So just a little bit of background. WDR, is a public broadcaster since 1950, biggest one of the 9 local stations. And they have the slots on Das Erste in the mornings on Saturday and Sunday. And then they also deliver content to Kika. And their most popular or most famous show is actually the show with the mouse. And I'm going to come back to that later when I'm going to tell you what we're looking for. It's important to understand the show with the mouse is like a magazine format where we have little bits of animation with the mouse, the show with the mouse, some documentary parts, that's actually factual live action, and then also some third-party animation shows or own productions that we have in there. So it's this, magazine format with different bits and pieces in there. So, but that's still not us. We are WDR Media Group, so we're the commercial daughter of WDR. And the core business used to be just ad sales for the TV and radio stations. And then they also started doing a lot of merchandising, licensing, especially on the show with the mouse, but then also on third-party programs. That grew bigger and bigger. Then they also had their own DVD label, and VOD distribution then came along. And now, since last year, we also have this new unit for international sales and co-productions and acquisitions, not for the channel, for kids programs. So that's basically then when I joined the company end of 2014 to build this whole up. And what we do there is basically those 3 pillars. We have like joint brand rollout in German-speaking territories. Like our biggest or best example is probably Shaun the Sheep, which was co-financed by WDR and also WDR Media Group. And we, as the media group, we got the merchandising rights, home entertainment rights, VOD rights. So we did everything apart from the free TV rights in German speaking, and I think we can say we did a pretty good job there because Shaun the Sheep is huge in Germany. I think it's one of the biggest 3 territories for Shaun the Sheep in general. So the next thing is then the international distribution of the WDR programs and also of third-party licenses. And the third one, I think is most interesting here, is the international co-productions that we do with WDR, but also with other channels in Germany and also other partners. And that means that we come on board a little bit earlier. So we come on board during development stage and then come on board with a little bit more or take a little bit more risk than just as a distributor. So, what are we looking for? As I just explained, the show with the mouse is that magazine format, and for example, Shaun the Sheep is the highlight at the end of the show, which basically sends off the audience on a Sunday morning into a nice Sunday. So that's the idea at the end of the show with the mouse. And as Shaun the Sheep has been going on for years and it's been really successful, we're looking for the next Shaun, basically, for the show with the mouse. We just discussed this last week with the channel. So we are currently working on our final briefing for this. So we really want to actively approach producers to pitch us their ideas for this format. It's a 5-minute slot. It could also be a little bit longer than that. And we need a potential for a very long-running series. It needs to have great potential for merchandising and licensing. So animals work really well, so maybe a bit better than human protagonists. And we're open to both dialogue, non-dialogue. It should be comedy. It should not just be kids, but basically the whole family, because the show with the mouse is for kids, but actually in the end it's for the whole family, and Shaun was a really good example for that. So yeah, humor is important. Also the style. I mean, as great as the CGI fancy animation is, we would really like to have something that is a little bit more unique than that, and also not the typical traditional puppet show. So yeah, character-driven comedy, original. If you have anything like that or have any ideas in mind, please come and see us for that. And on top of that, we also look for gender-neutral comedy, 11 minutes or even longer than that for the 6+ audience, because like in our first year, we took on like 3 live-action projects and 1 preschool project and 1 very early animation project. So we really need some more comedy 6+ 11 minutes for distribution. So if you have anything like that, please also come and see me. So what's next and how our role changes? What we found out last year is actually, like in the beginning we always said we would like to come on board also for development stage, but then we would like to have like already a bit of a Bible, a bit of a script, something like that. But in the end we actually took on projects that were really, really early stage. Like one project, it was basically an idea and there was nothing else, and we said, okay, let's do this development together. So in the end, what is the minimum requirement for us to come on board is just an amazing idea and a bit of a plan how we could take this further together. And then another thing is that we also started helping outside partners that have never done anything with TV production, but they would like to come on board, for example, a merchandising brand that would like to start a TV series. So we helped them to find the right partners, find a producer, find the channel, and then actually build it up from the ground. So that was a bit how our role as a distributor changed quite a bit, and we became a lot more creatively involved in everything than we initially intended to be. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Dankeschön, Stefanie. So, acquisition, but mostly co-productions with Germany, but not only. Shaun the Sheep, you were co-producers with the UK.
Yeah, so we could work with anyone, basically. Of course, we also very much like to work with German producers, as we are from Germany. But
they need any help, also yours. They need all the help to rebuild all the productions. Yeah,
it's not a requirement, and we don't have any regulations that we have to. But of course, we want to work with German producers, and ideally, for co-productions, then also come on board with German partners.
And so, what does it mean for someone who's producing content-driven producing that you're also very interested in the merchandising part of things? How do you look at projects then?
You know, I have to admit the merchandising part is not my expertise, it's my colleagues, so they always evaluate the projects for that. But like their briefing now for the I call it the next Shaun, was like, you know, it should be like maybe not humans but more animals and
so they have a voice in the choice of what you co-produce. Yes,
they do. I mean, of course we can do things with less of a potential, but in the end, especially like for something that we would do together with the channel as well, although of course the public channel is not as interested as we are in the merchandising, so when we look at Germany as a focus, then merchandising is even more important and it plays a big role for us.
Okay, so you're also still very happy with Stefanie? Yeah, no questions? You all looked, you all watch, the Germans watch every 11:30 still? Sendung mit der Maus on Sunday? Yes. Yeah, good. Okay, we love you too.